Hello and welcome to The Big Picture. Indian politics have many a times during the years resembled one or the other epic, Ramayana or Mahabharata. In Uttar Pradesh, a mix of the two epics is being played out as father takes on son and son takes on uncle and vice versa, with a second wife in the background and a man Friday of the fathers indulging in backdoor machinations. The brewing problem blew up in the open today in a rather ugly fashion. The meeting called by the Samajawadi Party Supremo Mulayam Singh Yadav of the party leaders, MPs and MLAs in Lucknow blew up into a full-fledged battle between his son and Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav and his brother Shivpal Yadav, with each accusing the other of conspiring and lying. Mulayam Singh was also harsh on his son, questioning his capability to win elections and putting all faith in his brother Shivpal Singh and expressing gratitude to Amar Singh. So what does all this mean for Samajwadi Party? Can it remain united anymore? What are the options between both the father and the son? How is this going to impact the election scenario in Uttar Pradesh? We will discuss all this today with Professor Pushpesh Pant, political analyst and former professor at JNU, Professor Sudhir Panwar, member of the Union of the UP Planning Board on the phone line from Lucknow, Sanjay Kumar, director CSDS, Smita Gupta, associate editor of the Hindu, and Vinod Sharma, political editor Hindustan Times. Welcome to all of you. Professor Sudhir Panwar, what is happening in your party and in your state? What would you like to describe this as?
Actually, it is the generational shift of the politics. Now, after Akhilesh Yadav assumed the charge of Chief Minister, then he tried to the new way politics. So it is bound to happen. It is generational shift in the politics. So there is no confrontation or there is nothing like this that what is perceived in media and in public. It is a generational shift and it happened everywhere. It happened in BJP also when L.K. Advani and others were included in this Margdarshak Mandal or so. So it is bound to happen.
And you don't think this will cost the government?
No, it will not cost the government. Actually, in the most democratic way, everybody has taken position and they have clarified their stand that what is their problem. And after that, the Patriarch Mulayam Singh conveyed that what is the way. In his presence, this Akhilesh greeted Mulayam Singh Yadav with full respect. So they will find the amicable way.
What happened after the greeting with great respect is something which we all witnessed. The ugly scenes, the charges and counter charges between the Chief Minister and his uncle on the stage in front of everybody. Sir, you don't think that this will affect the party?
No, it is affecting party, but for the limited time. I think they will find the amicable way soon.
Okay, your confidence is quite interesting. Professor Pant, no, generational shift, you know.
I think, Girish, I don't buy this generational shift thing at all. And I think Professor Panwar may have had his compulsions, but I think it's difficult to agree with either his definition of generational shift or democratic way of settling differences. Let's not go into the ugly scenes which all of us witnessed. I would like to take on from two things. One, you said the two epics being mixed up here. I think we had always blamed in Indian politics the Putra Moh, whether it is of Indira Gandhi or somebody else. Right now we are witnessing Putra Droh of a father.
From Motilal Nehru.
Yes, we are... That's correct. I stand corrected. And then you have a Putra Droh, which are we watching in Kali Yuga, that a father is definitely standing against a son. Now, what I'm worried about is not what happens to the party. I don't know how Vinod, who's far more experienced in these things, and Smita equally better experienced than me in the rough and tumble of electoral politics and knowing the leaders personally. I'm not worried about the fate of the Samajwadi Party. I'm worried about what this is doing to Indian democracy. If an elected chief minister of a state, the largest, most populous state in the country, says, I will do what my father says and I will get down if he wants me to take a vanvas, does it mean that he was sitting on the chief minister's gaddi like the Bharat ki Paduka from the Ramayana all this while? That's one part. The second part is where the party supremo, whatever it might mean, or the Netaji, the only Netaji which comes back to a person of my generation is Netaji Subhash Bose. But if you confuse these titles and confuse the, I mean, everything will be fine if the Parivar gets together. So I think we were always been blaming Congress for dynastic democracy, the Abdullahs for this kind of thing, and you say it happens everywhere. I'm very concerned about the dynastic democracy. I'm very worried about the way the bureaucracy aligns itself to one faction or the other in a warring party. It could be any party. What Professor Panwar says is right. What we are witnessing is happening elsewhere. My primary concern is not even about the electoral outcome of this kind of a family feud. I'm worried about the lasting damage this does to the institution of electoral democracy, where an elected chief minister doesn't have the prerogative of sacking or appointing a minister or allocating portfolios. His father or the Netaji tells him to do whatever he wants to do. And I think Professor Panwar referred interestingly to the Margdarshak Mandal. So, but Mulayam Singh ji is made of different stuff.
Doesn't
I mean,
look
the old
like
wrestler is not going to become a member of the without screaming and kicking. He will not go out gently into that night.
Into that mandal, if ever there's going to be one. Sanjay Kumar, so how do you look at this? Do you look at this also as a generational shift, as Sudhir Panwar would like us to think, or how do you look at this?
No, Sudhir wanted to present a picture which was too simplistic. The situation is not that simple. It is not just differences of opinion within the leaders, leaders of the same party, or within family members of the same party. It is the crisis is much deeper than that. Second question, is it a generational shift? Yes, to some extent this is a generational shift. I think Akhilesh Yadav is looking at in a sense, he is a long-term player. He is going to be in politics for a very long time. Mulayam is almost on the exit door of the UP politics of the party. His age is catching up. He is not too well to lead the party the way he used to do 10, 12 years, 15 years ago. So what is the option left with Akhilesh? I think there is a generational gap, but also the fear is, if Mulayam is not in a position to actually have control over the party, there will always be fear with Akhilesh Yadav that Shivpal Yadav and others can actually have undue influence on the party, and he will be reduced to a very small player within the party. So I think Akhilesh Yadav is trying to do a master stroke, actually get hold of the party and the government at a time when at least Mulayam Singh is there to come to his rescue or come to his side, which is not happening at this moment. But I think finally, if the events unfold in next few weeks' time, in a month's time, I think that is going to happen, that finally maybe Mulayam would be willing to accept Akhilesh Yadav. Look at one point, all the three big leaders are willing to accept Akhilesh because they all know Akhilesh is the face. At least now Akhilesh is the face. So everybody is trying to give an indication that I am with Akhilesh Yadav, because the votes Samajawadi Party will get in the forthcoming election will not be in the name of Ram Gopal Yadav or in Shivpal Yadav's name or even in Mulayam Singh Yadav's name. If people are going to vote for Samajawadi Party, they will actually vote for Akhilesh Yadav because he's seen as a neutral player, or he's seen as someone who wants to do a clean politics. So it is a generational gap, but also a different kind of politics.
Okay. So, Smita, Putra Droh,
Yes.
which Pushpesh Pant says, may turn back into Putra Prem. That's what Sanjay thinks. No, but where did it all start?
See, it started a long time ago. See, first let's go back 5 years to the last elections. When the election campaign was taking place, Mulayam Singh was seen as a chief ministerial candidate. But the face of the campaign was Akhilesh Yadav, and there's no doubt about it that, forget whether he has administrative abilities or not, he was the person who really helped the party get that win that majority, because he brought certain freshness to the campaign. Now, we've seen these 4.5 years where he's really not been allowed to function the way a chief minister should be allowed to function. And he has pretty much kept quiet. There have been many occasions when Mulayam Singh has scolded him in public, which is something that even as a father he should not, because you undermine the, if you have made
authority
your son,
of the chief minister.
I mean, he chose his son over his brother as chief minister. That was a nomination. You can't undermine the authority of the chief minister in public, no matter what. Now we come to the present point. Now, I would say that all this was still, under wraps. I mean, we all, as journalists, everybody knew, but it was not playing out in the public domain. I somehow feel that the person who's behind the scenes, who has, you know, kind of revved it up, is Amar Singh.
Who moved to Calcutta today. He was not seen in Lucknow.
Yeah. And Amar Singh has played some role. And today, as you saw, shockingly enough, Mulayam Singh said that I will never abandon Amar Singh because he kept me out of jail.
That is a very important statement he makes. You know?
Yeah, and it was
What does he
utterly,
mean by
utterly
it?
shocking. You
What
know,
does he mean by it?
that he was in trouble over some scam, and he, you know, he's the one who's supposed to have organized lawyers, fixed judges. I mean, that's what his claim is.
No, Vinod, you know, this claim, there are so many things which have come out today, that so many things which need discussion. But this claim in public by a former chief minister, present president of the party, you know, giving so much credit to one person to keep him out of jail. What does this mean?
Well, first of all, let me tell you, neither it is Putradro nor Putramo. It is at best Yadavi Yudh, you know. And it was Gandhari's curse which is coming through, you know. I mean, frankly, you know, that exactly it is. Because look at the family tree of the Yadavs. You see, it is a tightly held private company where it is fraternal stakeholding, you know. And when there are fissures among stakeholders, the edifice is bound to fall, regardless of whether the party survives one piece or not. I am certain that its social base will not survive one piece. That is clear. Whether Mulayam Singh remains in the party, whether Akhilesh remains in the party, whether they remain together, whether the uncles are there with them, that doesn't matter.
And whether the split takes place.
You see, because you'd see this one person who'd gain from this will be Mayawati because of the Muslim shift. Because Muslims will go with a stable party which has a stable base.
No, we'll come to
that later.
Yeah.
Now, that apart, you see, as of now, Mr. Mulayam Singh has left no option for Akhilesh Yadav to have a face saver.
Absolutely.
Either he quits the party or he stays within the party at the mercy of the cabal, which Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav praised. You see, he went to the extent of praising a mafia don, citing a constitutional functionary,
Exactly.
which is so unfortunate.
Yes.
You know, you see, I mean, I felt very sad about it. Similarly, you know, he says that he will never leave his brother, and he told his son to go to his chacha and hug and make up. You know, now it doesn't work that way in politics, Mr. This is not the first time that you're seeing a father-son face-off in Indian politics. We saw it happening relatively mildly in the National Conference when there was a change of guard. Let's remember that, you know. We are also seeing it happening within the Congress party. And the interesting bit is that all three of them are friends with each other, you know. Rahul Gandhi, Umar Abdullah and Akhilesh. They are friends, you see. And to that extent, I would call it the fears instigated or inspired by a change of guard. It may not be a generational shift because in the case of the Congress, the Rahul has full support of the Congress president. And even in the National Conference, Farooq Abdullah did not go beyond a point.
Absolutely.
We saw similar things posthumously of top leaders. Ajit Singh had to fight Devilal after Charan Singh. Remember,
in Tamil Nadu,
you know, in Tamil Nadu, and you saw it happening in Tamil Nadu. We also saw it happening after Sheikh Abdullah's death in Kashmir when GM Shah and Farooq Abdullah had a face-off. But these were all posthumous. I mean, after the main leader died, there was a struggle or a scramble for a share in the legacy. But in this case, a legacy was handed down to Mr. Akhilesh Yadav. And Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav, in his hours of weakness, in his moments of weakness, I don't know what's his weakness, is deconstructing the same boy. You see, one had seen a succession happening in his lifetime. Now, God forbid, if something happens to Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav, this party would be left nowhere. It will be broken into so many pieces.
No, whether it will remain united till then, that's the question now.
It may remain united till then. That's what I feel, because as of now, Akhilesh Yadav can't form a splinter group. If he forms a splinter group, he'll have to fight without the symbol of the party. He'll have to fight without the name of the party. It's not an easy task for a young leader to accomplish, you know, especially when his entire family is raged against him, barring one uncle who's been expelled from the party.
Professor Panwar, what is the what is the solution now? You think that there is a lot of talk going on that the split is imminent, because as Vinod rightly pointed out in the beginning, that Mulayam Singh Yadav has not left any room for maneuver for his son.
No, actually, what Vinodji was saying, that it is a stand of Akhilesh Yadav against the status quo. He was talking about the status quo, what was happening in the party. So Akhilesh Yadav resentment for the status quo. And now two things are clear from today's development, that the succession is complete. Mulayam Singh Yadav himself said that he will not replace Akhilesh Yadav from the Chief Minister post. So the succession is complete. Now they are the tidbits. I think they will solve this problem, that who will play which role. So it is a question of the role playing, and who will distribute the tickets, or who will have what role in the ticket distribution and this electioneering or this advertisement or
but
so
Mr.
many things during the election.
Sudhir Ji, the question is that there is a huge demand now from the other side, from Shivpal Singh and Shivpal Yadav and his group, that Mulayam Singh should take over as the Chief Minister if the party has to remain united. Is that the way? Is that something Mulayam Singh will not even think of, according to you?
He rejected that demand in a single fraction of time. Mulayam Singh was the only person who can accept or reject that demand, and he rejected that demand.
Okay.
And one more thing I wish to, that
Please.
we are speaking about the after split scenario. I'm saying that it is not going to be split, and there is not going to be split. And if a split takes place, then they are not going to lose the vote again.
You are saying that the base which Vinod talks about will not be lost. Who will it go to if the party splits? Which side will the base will have to decide between the two, or get divided between the two?
No, first split is not going to happen, because from the today's development it is clear, and if it happens, then Akhilesh Yadav commands the majority of the MLA and the public also.
Okay, that's interesting, Professor Pant. That's an interesting. If it leads to a split.
Professor Panwar.
No, you tell me. Do you think that split at this point of time is inevitable, or you think they'll be able to sail over it?
As far as I'm concerned, the organ transplantation is being done. The plastic surgery is on the surface, which we are watching. Professor Panwar grudgingly admits the possibility of if and when the split takes place, Akhilesh retaining the control of the MLAs and the people. I think Vinod was making a very interesting point about the Muslim supporters of the SP shifting to Mayawati, a stable party. My intrigued mind is also curious to know, where does Azam Khan Sahab stand at the moment?
He's with Akhilesh.
He's with Akhilesh. Now you also think of the generational support. It is not only the split between Akhilesh and his father. They also have their separate loyal supporters,
right,
not all belonging to the Yaduvangsh. I mean, although I'm strongly tempted to subscribe to Vinod's thesis कि प्राण बचे पचाए वचन गलाई यदु कुल रीति सदा चली आई. We have seen that in past also. But without getting into this, I would like to suggest that the bureaucracy is divided along the factions, supporting one or the other, and they have big stakes of industrialists and the younger people not belonging to the clan, who also are either supporters or detractors of one. I think what Vinod was pointing out, when you give equal weightage, if not more, to a muscleman, a political wheeler dealer and an operator, and a young person with a clean image whose only blot on him is association with his father and association with the uncle.
And being not allowed to function in the way he should have functioned. Sanjay, what is the impact? Because some people think that it is going to this is going to benefit the BJP. Some think it will benefit the BSP. How do you look at this?
See, my own reading of UP situation at this moment is BJP is certainly ahead of all other parties. All what is happening in UP, all the drama which is unfolding within the Samajawadi party is actually by default helping BJP. Look at different scenario. if there is a split in the party, Muslim vote will get badly divided. By default, which party is gaining? It is the BJP which gains. If there is a split in the party, also Yadavs will not remain consolidated. And I won't be surprised if some Yadav vote actually shifts towards BJP. The OBC vote, the non-Yadav OBC vote, there would be a greater shift towards BJP. So everything what is unfolding within the Samajawadi party by default is gaining. I'm not saying BJP's vote share will shoot up from say 30% to 35%. They will gain in terms of some vote percentages by default. If there is a split, there would be a 5-way contest, 4-way contest. And we all know historically, look at all the assembly election which has taken place since Lok Sabha elections. BJP managed to win all those assembly elections where oppositions has been badly divided.
Right.
So it by default gains for BJP. So BJP is smiling. If the crisis continues, BJP would be laughing, and they would be laughing because they would the power is getting gifted to them. The power is getting into their own lap without doing anything. So that's the crucial issue. The Muslim vote will get badly divided if the SP gets divided.
Okay.
So the gains for BJP, I don't think that it is. I don't have any question mark on whether BJP is gaining or not. It is the gains for BJP.
Okay. Smita?
I agree with Sanjay Kumar completely, that the biggest gainer, if the situation in the Samajwadi party does not improve, will be the BJP.
No, 1 second.
Huh.
Can it improve? Is there a scope for the situation to improve in the next 3 months or 4 months that there is time for before the elections?
Well, let us suppose there is a split in the party. I feel that a majority of the party and the supporters will
The
stay with
support
Akhilesh.
base will stay with Akhilesh.
A majority, and in fact, he will get more. As long as because see, for instance, let's take the Yadav middle class. There's a new Yadav middle class
Right.
that is growing.
Right.
That Yadav middle class was already shifting to the BJP because they did not wish to be associated with the goon squads of the Samajwadi. But that's why they liked Akhilesh Yadav. So Akhilesh Yadav has those people. Among the youth, he has a lot of support. And upper caste may not vote for Akhilesh, but they're not hostile to him in the way they were hostile to, say,
Mulayam.
Shivpal or Mulayam Singh. But his success would depend on, suppose there's a split tomorrow, you will have to watch for a month. If in that 1 month he can actually put an organization together, there's a big if. Because if you don't have an organization, you cannot shift,
That is true, but these are things which have happened in Indian politics before. In short times, people have put together a party and have won elections and all. Vinod? BSP, how is it going to,
Well, I think that
is it BSP which is going to be helped or BJP?
my theory is that it's the BSP which will gain. Mind you one thing. There are certain events which have happened in recent past, which involve both the Dalits and the Muslims. And they were at the receiving end of the so-called hardliners, Hindu hardliners, be it the cow protection issue or be it any other issue. The Muslim voter has made up his mind that it is not going to be with there's one voter which is decided in UP that in which way will it vote against the BJP. Okay. Now
But
there
that
was
has always been the case in UP.
Please, there was a confusion in their mind whether to go with Mulayam or whether to go with Mayawati. Now, in this situation, they will be more easily deciding that they must go in favor of Mayawati because Mayawati's track record on law and order is much better. Under Mayawati's leadership, no cow vigilante will be running amok in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Let's get that right. And I'm not a psephologist, but psephologists went abysmally wrong in Bihar. You see, they had to eat a humble pie. I'm not saying that our friend on the panel, I'm not trying to make a comment on him. But may I say one thing, that between now, if there is a split, now there was a mention about middle class, young middle class, Yadav voter. May I ask one thing? Which is the face for which the voter will vote who is a floating voter in the BJP? Who is the face? The other two parties have a face. Mayawati is a face there. Akhilesh, if he is a splinter group, yet remains a face. Mulayam will remain a face. Where is the BJP face? Is Ms. Joshi the face? I mean, so much is made of in the media.
The BJP President Maurya.
You see Maurya. I mean, who are the face? Which is the chief ministerial face of BJP in Uttar Pradesh? And much will depend on the caste allegiance of that face, whether or not they can partake anything of what is happening within the BJP.
Yes, Smita.
See, I'm not just analyzing. I traveled last month, and while I would have gone with what Vinod said, if I hadn't traveled, the fact is that the BJP is a many layered strategy. This current, what is happening is only helping them more. For instance, there is a communal tension right across the state. It is simmering. They are working very quietly. For instance, they know that both the Muslims and the Dalits see themselves as victims of the BJP. They are working to divide the Dalits from the Muslims. So there are small things that are happening everywhere. You know.
Okay. Professor Panwar, very quickly, sir.
Yeah, please.
How do you react to what Vinod and Smita have said?
Now, what Smita had said, I must mention that BJP is the party of wave in UP. Whenever there is a wave, they get good votes, more than 30% or so. But they could not create any wave after this Kerala and then Love Jihad and so. So I fairly doubt that they will increase their base vote from 12% to 30% in this.
Okay.
And Muslims are also skeptical about the Majawadi past record when she aligned with the BJP.
Okay.
So Samajawadi Party is a natural choice for the Muslim as well as the aspirational young men who are influenced by the Akhilesh groundwork.
Okay, sir. I think on that note we'll end. We'll wait and watch how this will all pan out in the coming days and weeks. First of all, how the internal warfare within the Samajwadi Party, where it will lead to, is something which we'll have to keep a close watch on in the next few days. Thanks to all my guests. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue, the big picture, same time tomorrow.